really what I want to get into today is your personal experience and how
Yeah,
that went for those couple of weeks as Pulp Mama.
yeah, it was it was special. There's no question. There were a lot of things that I did not expect.
That's what I was going to ask about first. Like, what was the biggest thing that surprised you that going into it, you wouldn't have expected or you thought about it differently?
So my poults hatched about a day early, I guess, on average.
They just couldn't wait to meet you.
The first one that hatched was 2 days before we had planned on it. So
Yeah.
that that created some issues because I had planned on them.
Yeah, it's hard to
Another
plan
thing.
life around.
Well, let me put it this way. There was no way in the world I was going to get all this going and then not be have some pulse imprinted on me and go through that.
Mhm.
There were a lot of things I did not expect. Probably the first thing that I didn't expect was related to the hatching process.
Mhm.
I didn't realize, I think we already talked about this with Kelly. I didn't realize what a monumental accomplishment it is for the poult just
Yeah.
to get out of the egg.
Yeah.
We've already talked about that and shared that. So that was kind of the first thing. But, at the time we were talking about it with Kelly, I had not done this yet. I had not been the one imprinted on. And one thing, and it happened real fast. And I had a bird, we named it Sugar. I let my daughter Evelyn name all of them. And it had a white band on it. And she
Mhm.
initially named it Cauliflower, but it was so sweet that she changed
Cauliflower.
it to Sugar. I think is a good change.
I think that was probably an improvement.
Yeah. And it fit so well because this pole imprinted on this was the first one that hatched and it was early.
Yeah.
It was ready to see me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it imprinted really strong on me. And immediately it was just me and Sugar. It imprinted on me really strong, really fast. When you look down at them, they're these little bitty nuggets in your hand. Like my hands just dwarf this little thing. It's
Mhm.
50 grams roughly. There's some variation on that, but that's
Yeah.
about what they average. And it's just out of the egg. It's barely even gotten dry.
Yeah.
And it's looking at me like right in the eyes with these little puppy dog looking characteristics, like it's like this
Yeah.
this little thing looking at me. And it was really there were several surprises that came from that. The first one was I didn't realize that would kind of provoke an emotional attachment connection to it
Yeah.
from me. Like I could see that happening with it, but it also happened with me where I had some similar things. Like people that have kids feel this, or if you have a pet that you really
Yeah.
love, it was that kind of connection. I just didn't expect it to be like that fast. But it was
Yeah.
like, 3 minutes in, and it's like, all right, you and I, we're gonna be strong buds for
Yeah.
your whole life. I couldn't help but reflect on how much we're gonna learn from this little guy.
Right.
How important this is going to be for your kind.
Yeah.
I know I'm biased because I'm leading the research project, but I also do feel that way that it's allowing us to address a lot of things that we really need answers on.
Yeah.
And that was one of the surprises to me. I didn't expect it to kind of play out that way.
To
And
affect
it's
you that
kind of
emotionally. Yeah.
people are probably gonna pick on me, and you'll probably will when you see the footage. But we've got these little tents, that we imprint them in, and I was in there, buddy, in the middle of it, imprinting these little things. The other side of that coin, I made a post recently about this. I didn't expect for it to go from that little nurturing, caring, attachment, phase. So basically, the first 3 days roughly of its life. I guess it was about 2.5 for that one. It's really imprinting. That's like what the little thing does. It's like
Mhm.
looking at me like I need to remember everything about you and how you move and all that, and let's get that solid. And then it was like the switch turned on to predator mode.
Mhm.
And as soon as they're outside, it's like everything about the poult changes to I'm about to go kill some.
Mhm.
but that's what it turned into. And
Yeah.
Mossy Oak gamekeepers were down there doing some recording, and one of the images that Rob Kenny captured during that, it like had the pult had the expression on its face, like you can just see it. What I'm
Mhm.
talking about is like shit's about to get real.
Mhm.
Like if you're a grasshopper or smaller, I'm going to eat you now.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's like this switch. And
Yeah.
when they're foraging, at first it's sort of haphazard. They don't really know what they're doing. They're just kind of pecking at everything, and if it moves, they're pecking at it, but they're not good at catching it. They're not really closely doing that in association to me or each other, but that really changes fast. Like they learn, we kind of spend some time up front showing them, oh, this is food, that's not food. They already innately know some of that, but they pretty quickly become these little collective hunters that are like a wave in front of me, which is what you see in, if you watch hens with poults out in the wild is really common. Most people probably see them when they cross in a road or something where the hen is in front and then all of them scurry across behind her.
Right.
But when they're eating, she'll be kind of standing behind them, watching out and everything, and they sort of are in a line, collectively foraging together in front.
Makes sense so she can watch them better.
Yeah, but seeing that change in behavior really fast. I mean, it was just there every day when I got there. I was so excited, and I actually filmed me first interacting with them every single day.
Mhm.
And then I did an update in the morning and afternoon every day, and then I have a reflection every day. It's like we could, footage of everything interesting that I could capture. Uh, so we got all this footage, but I was doing that because on day one I realized, man, they're going to change so fast.
Mhm.
Like it's worthy of me trying to capture it.
Well, the thing one of the things that, and I just get little key highlights, that you've sent out. There's no way that we have time to talk about everything that you're observing out there, but you sent me that picture, I think it was last week or the week before, of birds from, single birds from two different broods, and they were 20 days apart.
Hmm.
One bird was 2 days old and one bird was 22 days old. And the difference in size and development was shocking. I mean, just
Yeah.
it floored me to see them like hand in hand, side by side like that. And you and I have said before it several times in the past while we're recording on the show that a lot of because brooding cover especially is so lacking across the landscape,
Hmm.
all this habitat management that we're talking about really pares down to a couple of critical weeks, and that just added further confirmation for me as
Yeah.
to why that's true,
About
because
3
they
weeks is
do change so rapidly.
they're little turkeys already.